Inc. DFS back with another video. In this little series I do, NBA DFS picks. I give you guys 5 players that I really like on tonight's slate. These guys I'm going to have in my core lineups tonight and give you guys a little insight on why I like these guys. Also, be sure you stay to the end of the video, as I like to leave the last guy as one of my favorite GPP plays on the slate. So make sure you stay tuned to find out who that is. As always, if you guys like these videos, find it helpful anyway, go and drop me down a like down below and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow and helps the channel grow as well, so we all can get to this money together. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. First guy on our list here, we have Jaylen Brown. Gets the dream matchup tonight against the OKC Thunder, who have been allowing huge games to opposing players all season. Most recently, Wendell Carter last night, who were all over last night in yesterday's video. So hopefully you guys were able to watch that and played Wendell last night and had a very good night like I did. More on Jaylen Brown. He's been playing very well of late, playing around 35 minutes a game with about a 30% usage rate, while we're getting about 20 shots a game. Most of his recent games have been ended up in blowouts. Celtics been playing very well recently. But even in those blowout games, he still was able to put up those solid minutes and solid usage rate stats. So if this game gets out of hand, he should certainly still have a nice time here tonight. OKC is struggling mightily versus shooting guards, as they're the third best matchup for shooting guards over the last 15 games. So certainly a nice little DVP spot here for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's also way too cheap, as we see him priced down at 7.2 thousand. Usually, a guy is priced in the 8,000 range, sometimes reaching the 9s. So definitely way too cheap. Definitely getting him at a budget price here. And with this game possibly being in a blowout, that certainly helps him reaching any value that he needs to pay off this price tag. Next guy on our list here, we have CJ McCollum. Great game environment, probably the best on the slate. This game currently has the highest over-under at 234.5, and it should be a track meet as it's the highest paced matchup on the slate. He's been back 3 games now since his injury, and 2 of the 3 games have been a blowout. So we haven't quite seen a full complement of minutes for CJ here until last night when he played Atlanta. In that game, he played 38 minutes and was able to put up 26 shots. So on top of that insane scoring floor of him putting up 26 shots a game, CJ's also been running point for the Pelicans here, so it gets facilitating duties on top of that insane scoring floor. So that should just raise his overall ceiling even higher. He should also have his way with Charlotte here, as they play little to no defense, as they just run up and down the court and score as many points as they can. He also could go on the radar here, as he's priced in that upper tier shooting guard range, and there's a lot more popular options up there like Donovan Mitchell and Zach LaVine. So definitely a guy here you can kind of pivot to, who I believe has a similar ceiling, if not higher than those guys. Next guy on our list here, we have LeBron James. If you've been watching these videos recently, you know how big I've been on LeBron. He's been motivated recently to kind of come out and will these Lakers to the playoffs. In doing so, he's been posting some monster stat lines and great Fanduel lines as well. Especially love LeBron tonight, as he's been playing center recently for the Los Angeles Lakers. And with him doing that, that gives him the opportunity to play the center position versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are down Jared Allen. And without Allen this season, they've been just having, our opposing big men have been having their way against Cleveland down low. If you look at the past 5 or 6 game logs, you can see pretty much every center they face have had a pretty good game against them. On top of that matchup and narrative to kind of will his team to the playoffs, there might be a little boring narrative on LeBron tonight as he returns to Cleveland. Cleveland playing in front of Cleveland obviously still means a lot to LeBron, as he publicly spoke out how special it was during the All-Star game, how he was able to go out there and perform very well and have that game-winning shot. So he definitely enjoys playing in front of Cleveland and might have a little bit of extra motivation here tonight. Next guy on our list here, we have DeMar DeRozan. Excuse me. For starters, we're going to point out the obvious. DeMar is insanely too cheap. This is a guy who's priced in the high 9s to the 10K range all season, coming in and out, posting 50-point games, and now he's priced all the way down to 8.2 thousand. Simply way too cheap. Gets the matchup versus Toronto, who's been playing very well recently, as they're also another team who's striving to make the playoffs. So this should be a nice back and forth competitive game throughout, and the Chicago Bulls will definitely need to rely on DeRozan's scoring to keep this game close and competitive. Similar to Braun, there might be some team-based narrative here for DeRozan as well, as he gets to go up against his old team where he started his career, where he loved playing in Toronto. Unfortunately, they traded him. He didn't want to be traded, so you might have a little extra motivation here to, kind of stick it to Toronto. So definitely look out for that as well. And our last guy on our list, my favorite GPP play on the slate, we have Marvin Bagley. No Jeremy Grant for the Pistons tonight, so Bagley should get the spot start at power forward. Jeremy Grant was out a couple games ago, and Bagley got the start there at power forward against the Orlando Magic. He got into foul trouble pretty early. I believe he racked up 2 fouls in only 4 minutes, so he had to sit for a while. But he's able to come back in and turn it around and had himself a big game, scoring 40 points in only 31 minutes. Barring he doesn't get any foul trouble tonight, as I don't see him doing with Portland not having any offensive first bigs. He should be able to play well into the 30s. I believe about 33 to 35 minutes here tonight and be in store for another big game against that weak Portland front court. Portland's the third best matchup for power forwards of the last 15 games, and they're still struggling even with a defensive first Justice Winslow bat, as they just allowed 38 points to O'Shea Brissett in only 26 minutes last time out. So that's going to conclude it. Again, if you guys like this video, found it helpful anyway, go jump down a like down below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys again.